See, at times what happens, instead of paying through a check, business houses draw bills. The bill can be a demand bill or a usance bill. If it is a demand bill, means the payment has to happen immediately. If it is a usance bill, means then the payment can happen at a future date. So this is the major difference between a demand bill and a usance bill. As the word goes, demand, I demand for the payment, so you have to pay me immediately. So when I allow you to make the payment at a future date, I call that as a usance bill. So the invoice, the bill of exchange, and a document of title to goods. The document of title to goods is nothing but it's a transport document basically, or handed over to the bank by seller. It's better to understand in a better way. See, when you do a transaction, when you buy something from a buyer, from a seller, let us talk about some machinery. You are also into business, and you want to run this business, so you need some raw materials, right? Let us talk about you manufacture motor pump sets. We'll take the example of manufacturing motors, okay, water motors. The major raw material for this manufacturing of a motor is the iron, cast iron we can say, or maybe the coils which has to be input in the motor. These are the two major raw materials, and you want to buy this iron from somebody. Let us talk about some company in the same place who supplies the iron. You can go to him and tell him that I need another 10 tons of iron for manufacturing activity of so and so. So what the supplier of iron does, he just send the goods to you. The physical movement of goods happens from the factory of the seller to the factory of the buyer. Okay. Now, goods have been moved to buyer's place, and buyer has to make the payment, right? So what happens, sometimes the buyer goes straight away make a cash payment or a check payment, whatever it is. There ends the transaction. But instead of check, the buyer says that I would like to go for I want you to write a bill of exchange and then give it to me so that I can get the bill discounted from my bank so that I can get the money immediately. So a check means whether the check can be of immediate nature or the buyer can write a future date and give the check to the seller so that the seller can present the check only after some time with the bank, which is on the due date. Whereas when you write a bill of exchange, these bills, or sometimes it is called as a hundi, it is being accepted by the finance companies and also accepted by the banks. So when you submit this to the finance company or an NBFC, that is non-banking finance company, they discount this bill and then they give the money to the seller immediately. And on the due date, the buyer makes the payment to the company with whom it gets discounted. Okay. Or else, even sometimes the buyer wants to write a bill of exchange and they say that you can get this discounted with some other company so that you get the payment and I can make the payment for this bill on the due date, so that both of us got benefited and I have to pay some amount as interest which I can bear. That is the way the transaction happens between the buyer and seller whenever there is a bill of exchange is being drawn. Okay. So when the seller submits the documents to the buyer, they submit the invoice, they submit that bill of exchange, and also they give the transport document which represents the document of title to goods, because once the goods are moving through a transport vehicle, the goods reaching the beneficiary's place or the buyer's place, and they can hand over the goods, right? Once they hand over the goods, if the payment happens, fine, no issues. But if the payment is not happening for some reason, then the seller is at a risk, right? That is why they want the bill of exchange to be signed by the buyer and give it to them upfront before they take delivery of the goods. So now what happens when the seller handed over the bill, the invoice and the demand promissory note or the draft, whatever you call it, all these three documents, and along with that, if any other documents are called for in the transaction, those documents are also given to the seller's bank. Seller's bank sends the document to the buyer's bank for collection of payment. Then the buyer's bank make a presentation to the buyer saying that we have received documents from so and so bank on account of this particular transaction. You please pay this and take the bill, or you please accept this bill of exchange and then inform us so that we can release the documents to you to clear the goods. That is the way. So the documents came to buyer's bank. Buyer's bank intimated to the buyer about the receipt of the documents. Buyer come to the bank and signs acceptance on the bill of exchange or make the payment of the bill of exchange and take delivery of the document, goes to the shipyard or to the place wherever the goods are lying. He can clear the goods and the payment either happens in immediately or it may happen on a future date. So then the buyer's bank can remit the money to seller's bank. In turn, seller's bank will give the credit to the seller. That is the way it operates. There are 4 parties involved in this. One is seller, then seller's bank, then 3 is buyer, then buyer's bank. Okay. And the payment can happen either on demand or on maturity. Okay. So this is the way bills are being collected. Now let us move on to another area which is called cash management system. What happens sometimes an individual, take for example Mr. Suresh. In our example, we have taken the name of Suresh. Our customer name is Trisha, and she has her own customer by name Suresh. Not only she has one customer, she has many customers like Ram, Naresh, Kishore and Utsav spread across all over India. So she is into business and she has various customers in her business. She needs fund for operations. Naturally, any business you need funds to operate the business, right? She also has to pay her staff stationed in different locations on the first day of every month. Simple, even the salary has to go to them, and maybe for some other activity, some other business activity, she needs to make a payment to her customers, right? So, and also she wants to check her funds position every day, and she has to do the reconciliation part of it. Whatever money has come in, whatever money she has paid, all that stuff, she has to make a balance of it, right? That is the work also she has to do. And finally, other services that the bank can offer. So she is into business and she has to conduct her business, and in the process of business, she has to do all these activities. And as a banker, how we can help her. That is the way we need to discuss now. Okay, so there it comes to the cash management system. We will see how it is. What is a cash management system? It is a combination of payment and collection services. It is customized to the requirement of the customer. See, it is not a standard one across for all customers. According to the customer's needs, the bank used to made it a tailor-made product for individual customers. So it is customized. The other way we can put it as this particular process, the cash management system, is customized to suit the needs of the customer, and it enables large customers with wide network of operations. One example we can just quote here is that when you talk about large customer, for example, you take the case of Reliance. You take Reliance Fresh. You heard about that Reliance Fresh, which sells groceries and vegetables in almost all locations. At least in Tamil Nadu, as you know, they have their presence across in all cities. So what they used to do, they sell the products, they collect money. At the end of the day, they have accumulated cash with them, right? Those cash has to be deposited in the bank the next day morning. So what happens? Simply they can deposit and the money can be is lying in their account for long. Whether the Reliance as a company, whether it will allow to lie or keep just without any action on it? No. What happens? Reliance Mumbai. Reliance head office is in Mumbai, and they have branches across India, in all places, many branches. Okay. So what they will do? This the Reliance Fresh. Take the case of Chennai. Chennai alone, Reliance has got branches more than 10. So all these 10 branches, they sell the products, they collect the money, and they deposit in the bank, which has been advised by their head office. So there ends the branch part. They get the goods from head office. So they sell the products, they collect the money from public, and they deposit with their bankers. So after that, what is happening? That we need to know. So Reliance Mumbai is the one who procures materials from the market. Maybe it's a grocery items or vegetables or fruits. Okay, whatever they all collect. They collect the products and supply to various branches. These branches will sell the products to the public, and they collect the money and they deposit to the Reliance bankers next day morning. In this case, Reliance is mostly having account with HDFC Bank. Okay. So what the HDFC branches do the next day morning? They have to give whatever money they get into Reliance account in each branch. For example, if they have a Reliance Fresh branch in Anna Nagar, the money goes to Anna Nagar HDFC branch. The next day morning, HDFC branch will debit Reliance account the entire money, leaving a small balance, credit to Reliance Fresh Mumbai account. So on its own. So automatically what happens? The bank takes care of the collection part of it. Whatever money deposited by Reliance Fresh on a day-to-day basis, it is being moved from the individual account to the head office account. This activity is being done by the bank. That is why it talks about large customers with wide network of operations. This particular type of facility is very helpful to them. And it's manage liquidity efficiently through speedier collection and efficient management of payments. And these banks, HDFC also give an MIS, that is Management Information System, on collections and payments, which is a benefit from the CMS. So what happens? This activity to be done by the individual customer in their office. Reliance Fresh has to do all this activity in their office. Instead, as a bank, we used to do their activity and then help them to give this MIS so that they need not to do all these activities again and again. And distributed collection payment at point of occurrence of transactions enables customers to reconcile their payment and collections on a daily basis. That's what I told you. On a daily basis, whatever money is being collected in the Reliance Fresh, it's being deposited to the HDFC branch of their locality. In turn, HDFC branch will credit this money to the Reliance Fresh account with Mumbai branch, and that particular account is being utilized by their head office for various activities. That is the way the money gets pooled, and all the data which are required by Reliance is being given to them by HDFC Bank.